The Dupa homestead is said to be where one of the founders of Phoenix first lived in the year 1871. Lord Dupa named the city of Phoenix over 150 years ago. He chose that name to commemorate the birth of a new civilization where one had stood 400 years before. But I wonder if this was what he envisioned the future would bring. Could he have imagined this? That his little desert town would become one of the biggest cities in the country, or that his home would become a tourist attraction on Google Maps.
The Dupa Homestead, 13 reviews, 4.4 stars. Owl X is calling it the oldest building in Phoenix. 2 likes.
It sits behind a painted fence, tucked away into a corner 30 feet away from a dumpster. There's a single plaque here, and it barely tells the story. This should be a point of pride for the city, and it shouldn't smell like hot garbage here. So how did it get to this point? It's because that's not Lord Dupa's house. A long time ago, this place actually had a tour service on site. But in the 80s, the city's Historical Preservation Committee determined that this structure was actually a barn, and that nobody ever lived in it. Lord Dupa sold the land to the Montgomery Dairy Operation in 1872. That report came out decades ago, and the plaque at the site doesn't lie. But 40 years later, many people still call this building Dupa's house. Myths survive in the digital age when search engines amplify them and people accept the first search results they find. The worst part is most of us never think to question these things at all. It makes me wonder, what kind of historical narratives are reliable? What myths have been gradually molded into fact? And why everybody suddenly stopped caring when they found out this wasn't his house? Just a few minutes away, what I think is the 8th oldest house in Phoenix tells a different story. It is incredibly well preserved, decorated, and runs air-conditioned tours in the summer.
The Rawson House Museum, 576 reviews, 4.7 stars. Christina says it's def worth the cost and worth it for the picture value alone. 16 likes!
Rawson put this house here in 1894 and became the town mayor the next year. By the time he came to Phoenix, there was an established railroad, meaning his home could be manufactured elsewhere and assembled here, as this one was by a San Francisco architecture firm. No adobe or mud were used here. I went on a guided tour at the Rawson House. My tour guide seemed to know everything about it. All of its past residents, renovations, and uses were neatly organized and on display. The house was adorned with Victorian-era wallpapers and furnishings and curtains. I can't help but think, are only beautiful things worth preservation? Beauty is subjective, yet aesthetic values influence historical preservation. One house got curtains and tours, the other got a fence and a dumpster. The way we decide what's worth saving is the same way we decide what we want to watch online. Accuracy and meaning are overshadowed by aesthetic appeal and user engagement. We pick what's pretty, trendy, clickable. What does it mean when historians are overshadowed by algorithms and aesthetics? These buildings aren't for us to do whatever we want with. They belong to our forefathers and our descendants, but never us. We shouldn't get to pick and choose what is saved or forgotten. These places are vital for our understanding of the past and of what shaped the modern world. In the end, we don't always recognize what matters, just what looks good in the frame.